Alright, let's do this.
Star Trek time.
So this thing starts, and we see some bald dude digging holes.
Then some bearded dude on a unicorn comes to him.
The bearded dude tells the bald dude that he can feel his pain.
And then the bearded dude makes the bald dude feel good.
Ew.
Not like that, man. It's some psychic stuff.
Oh. Meanwhile on Earth, we see Kirk's stunt double climbing a mountain.
He gets pretty high, but then the logical dude shows up and starts talking to Kirk.
Kirk gets all annoyed and tries to tell the logical dude to go away.
But then he falls.
Fortunately, the logical dude manages to catch him by using some hover technology we'll never see again outside this movie.
Back at the desert place, we see a hooded lady.
She enters a small town with a variety of odd dudes.
There's even a triple-titted cat lady. Meow.
Wait, what?
Yep, check it out.
Why?
Shatner directed this one.
Oh.
Anyway, the hooded chick goes into a back room to meet with some ambassador dudes.
And it turns out she's a logical chick.
Actually, she's not. She's a Romulan.
A what?
They're related to the logical dudes, but they're different species. Sort of like German shepherds and Australian shepherds.
So, does that actually matter to the plot?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we then see a group of dudes being led by the bearded dude.
They take over the city after breaking through the universe's lamest gate.
They take the ambassadors hostage.
It's a good thing ambassadors just never have bodyguards.
Back at Earth, we see the Enterprise.
It's having a lot of technical difficulties that didn't exist last movie.
On board, we see the black chick and the Scottish dude.
Hey, he lost weight.
He must finally be done grieving.
Their boss calls and tells the two of them to collect the crew.
So they do. Well, after some pointless singing.
Merrily, 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 gently down the stream.
Also, we see some ridge-headed dudes, but they're not going to be relevant till later.
Back at the Enterprise, Kirk and pals are all back together.
Their boss tells them that he needs them to go investigate the stuff happening at the desert place.
Kirk points out the obvious logical fallacy of sending a skeleton crew on a broken ship to investigate a possibly dangerous situation.
But his boss doesn't listen.
So off they go.
They get to the desert place and pick up a signal being sent by the bearded dude.
The logical dude recognizes him and tells Kirk that the bearded dude is an exiled logical dude.
Kirk decides to go down to the planet.
But the Scottish dude tells him that the teleporters aren't working.
So they have to take a shuttle.
They land outside the city and have to find a way to get in.
So they come up with a way to distract the guards.
No, what? No, ew. Why?
'Cause Shatner.
Damn it, Shatner!
Anyway, they get into the city and attempt to free the ambassador dudes from earlier.
But it turns out the bearded dude has used his magical powers to make them work for him.
And it is not all good.
This means that Kirk and pals are easily captured by the bearded dude.
The bearded dude forces Kirk to take them all back to the Enterprise.
But then, the ridge-headed dudes show up.
But they manage to get the shuttle into the Enterprise and get away just in time.
Kirk makes a daring move to take back control.
And it almost works.
But the logical dude messes it up by not shooting the bearded dude.
It turns out that the bearded dude is the logical dude's half-brother.
It's a good thing that information wouldn't have been helpful earlier.
Yeah.
Because of this, the bearded dude manages to take control of the ship and magically brainwashes most of the crew.
They decide to head to the center of the galaxy to go find God.
Hey, wait a minute. Hasn't Kirk already been to the center of the galaxy?
Yep, and they found Space Lucifer. But I'm sure this will turn out completely different.
Of course it will.
Kirk, the bony dude, and the logical dude are all thrown in prison.
But the Scottish dude breaks them out.
Man, it sure is good that Scottish dude is so competent.
Yeah. Realizing that Kirk has escaped, the bearded dude sends out the converted crew members to capture him.
But the three heroes manage to escape using the hover technology from earlier.
Man, those shoes are so awesome, they can break the laws of physics.
You mean because that one pair of shoes manages to support the weight of all three of them?
Nah, man, because it made them capable of flying past the same floors multiple times.
Wow, it's almost like the editor wasn't even paying attention.
Kirk and pals manage to get back to his room and attempt to send a distress signal.
But it doesn't work.
The bearded dude manages to recapture them.
He then attempts to use his magical powers to mind control the bony dude and the logical dude.
But it doesn't work.
Realizing he cannot stop the bearded dude, Kirk decides his only option is to go along for the ride.
Eventually, they manage to reach a strange place at the center of the galaxy.
The bearded dude convinces Kirk and pals to go down with him to the planet.
So they do.
And they meet Zordon.
Zordon claims to be God.
Wow, that puts Power Rangers in a whole new light.
So, just as everyone else is ready to accept Zordon as their one true savior, Kirk asks an important question.
What does God need with a starship?
Zordon does not appreciate that.
This makes everyone realize that the being isn't God, and is instead some sort of space demon.
Realizing its cover is blown, the space demon starts taunting them.
The bearded dude, realizing his mistake, decides the most logical decision is to attempt to tackle the insanely powerful being.
With the space demon distracted, Kirk orders the Enterprise to fire a torpedo at it.
And it looks like things are all good.
The Scottish dude even has the teleporters working.
But he can only beam up 2 at a time.
So they beam up the logical dude and the bony dude.
But then, the ridge-headed dudes from earlier show up and attack the ship.
And to make matters worse, the space demon isn't even dead yet.
This means Kirk is forced to run away from an angry space demon.
It was supposed to be a bunch of lava monsters.
So, why isn't it?
They blew their budget on the suit, and it didn't work.
Oh! So that's why the last third of this movie looks like crap. They blew their budget on a bad costume.
Pretty much. Anyway, Kirk manages to get up on a cliff, but then the ridge-headed dude's ship appears.
And it blows away the angry space demon.
It looks like it's gonna shoot Kirk.
But then it doesn't.
It turns out the logical dude managed to convince the ridge-headed ambassador from earlier to take command of the ship.
And it's all good.
The crew is saved, the crisis is over, and everyone is free of the magic mind control.
This, of course, means Kirk and pals are able to get back to camping and singing pointless songs.
The end.
Wow. This movie was bad.
Yeah.
There were more plot holes in this movie than there were plot points.
Yep.
The next one's better, right?
Yeah, but that's really not saying much.
Captain Kirk is climbing a mountain. Why is he climbing a mountain? Captain Kirk is climbing a mountain. Why is he climbing a mountain? Captain Kirk is climbing a mountain. Why is he climbing a mountain? Captain Kirk is climbing a mountain. Why is he climbing a mountain?
Home Atomics!
Back at the Enterprise, Kirk and pals are all back together. Back at the Enterprise, Kirk and pals are all back together. Back at the Enterprise, Kirk and pals are all back together. Back at the Enterprise, Kirk and pals are all back together. Back at the Enterprise, Kirk and pals are all back together.